As I've said before in many of my videos, China is an amazing place filled with amazing people. But if you're coming here as a tourist and you decide you want to F around, you're going to find out. Let's talk about it. 大家好，我是 Surant 在中国. Hey everyone, it's Surant in China. How y'all doing today? I hope you're having a lovely day. I'm having a fantastic day, of course, over here in China. The sun is shining, the weather is perfect, and I decided to get out of the house for a little while and come to the nearby shopping center and figured, hey, this looks like a good place to make a video about a news story that I just read about. But before we get to that, first and foremost, let me say thank you to all of my viewers, and especially those who have taken the extra step of helping my channel to grow. It's really easy to support this channel, and all it takes is either a couple seconds of your time to hit that subscribe button below and throw me a thumbs up if you like the content I'm making. It's absolutely free, and it goes a long way in helping the YouTube algorithm to find my videos and to share them with more people. And hey, if you wanted to show a little more support, you could buy a guy a cup of coffee. There are some links up above and down below, and you could become a channel member and get early access to all my videos. But enough about that. Let's talk about some Japanese tourists. Now, this happened in January, but I just read the story now, and it's kind of interesting because, as I mentioned before, China is an amazing place filled with amazing and friendly people. I have never had any overly negative experiences in China with people in general, whether late at night, out in public, in private situations, anywhere. I have always found the friendliest and happiest people on the planet, at least in my honest opinion, much more so than I would have found back home. However, China does have some laws and some regulations that people really need to be made aware of, especially things when it comes to morality and decency. This Japanese couple in January was visiting the Great Wall when they thought it would be funny to drop trowel and expose their asses. Now, they were just doing it to take funny pictures. However, China doesn't take such things lightly. There are laws against public indecency and public nudity. And although in Canada, they might have just gotten a warning or got kicked out of the venue or possibly even just scolded by a security guard for doing such a thing, China is a different story altogether. The security guards immediately detained them and called the police. When the police arrived, these two tourists found their holiday fun was long over. They were arrested and put in jail for 2 weeks before finally being kicked out of the country, deported. So that's a really shitty way to end your Chinese vacation. Now, this has had even more repercussions because, unfortunately, for anybody who knows Asian history, Japan and China are not exactly on good terms now, though better than it has been in the past. But doing something like this was taken as being incredibly disrespectful. And it actually caused an outcry on social media in China with almost 60 million views. Most of those views on social media followed by complaints, arguments, terrible things being said because it was seen as the most utter disrespect by a country who has still not come back into China's good graces. Now, that said, that doesn't mean that it would be okay for a Chinese person to do that either. Public morality and decency are huge things here in China. And whereas, sure, they're not so happy with Japanese people in general, the same thing would have happened to me if I would have effed around and found out. But see, I'm smarter than that, and I hope most of my viewers will be as well. Doing something like that, which may seem funny, just a joke, not too serious, in your culture, may not be the same over here. So I highly recommend that people play by the rules, err on the side of caution when it comes to these kind of things, because yes, I think that those two tourists got off lucky. Had they been locals, they might have gotten 2 years in jail for such a scandal. If they had been any other country, they might have just been deported. It's hard to say. It really depends on the local officials in the local areas. But any way you look at it, it was a bad idea, a really bad idea. And it's not to say that it would have been acceptable in Japan either. Japan also has very strict laws on public decency and morality. The exact same thing, had they done that in Japan, or heaven forbid, had I done that in Japan, would have been met with pretty much the exact same penalty. Now, at this time on our planet, there are more and more people walking around with cameras looking for attention. And this is getting dangerous, and it's making it more dangerous for people like me who like to go out and like to make videos and share my experiences with other people. Because these clout chasers, these nuisance streamers, and nuisance creators go out to make trouble on purpose. People like Johnny Somali, people like Ice Poseidon, who have actually run into trouble overseas. Johnny Somali has been arrested in Japan. He was thrown aggressively out of Israel and is now facing up to 10 years in prison in Korea for doing exactly these kind of stupid stunts. Now, good for them, I say. That's fantastic. I hope you have fun picking cabbage in the fields or sitting in a little cell for the next 10 years. But what it's actually doing is damaging the reputation of other tourists and other people who go traveling in those countries as well. Nowadays, many creators are feeling quite nervous about making videos in Korea with a selfie stick or in Japan, because they might get literally beaten up on the streets, because people might think that they were nuisance streamers like those jerks who have sullied the reputations of their countries and their fellow travelers. So yes, it's unfortunate that those Japanese people decide to play a little joke, have a little fun, expose their buttocks in a place where they thought it wouldn't be that big of a deal, and they found out the hard way. I suspect now that they're out of jail and have been returned to Japan, they've done so in shame. I'm sure their families who, again, Japan also has a very moral culture in that regard. I'm sure their families are not impressed with them, and they're likely banned from coming back to China for at least the next 10 years, if not forever. So, long story short, the moral of the story is, think about it. We are increasingly in a world where everything is on camera, but that doesn't mean everything is okay. Just because it's okay where you come from, or you think it's just a joke, doesn't mean it doesn't have serious potential consequence. That's all I've got for you now. As you can see, this huge building complex behind me is brand spanking new. This is a little restaurant booth outside. I'm just standing outside on a little balcony outside the in-park mall. On the other side over here is the subway station, and that's how I got here. I came to have a nice little lovely Italian lunch today. I had some soup, some spaghetti, some lovely garlic bread. And now I'm going to wander through the mall, pick up something in the import store. Hopefully no tariffs yet. But yeah, fantastic day to be alive, and I'm being careful. I definitely do not believe in effing around and finding out, and I hope none of you do either. But that's all I've got for now. Thank you so much for joining me today. As always, we will see you in the next video. Sai Jen.